Okay, good evening YouTube. Welcome to this, I was going to say a special episode of FPL Family. It's nothing really special about it, but it will certainly be different. It will certainly be different. We hope you are well, guys. We are now, some 3, maybe nearly 4 weeks from the last time anybody kicked a ball in anger in the Premier League, since anybody last got a bonus point in FPL.
I don't think it's been that long.
It just feels like that.
I think you
How long actually is it?
2 weeks?
No. 3, almost 4, right?
The week you were on the stag do was the no football weekend.
That's true. That's
so
true. That's like...
it's 2 weeks.
Feels like longer,
This
doesn't it?
might be the third... This is the third weekend.
It feels like longer, doesn't it? Goodness me, guys. Listen, this is going to be very different. Yeah. Very, very different to your usual FPL family. What we are going to try and do is hopefully try and bring you a little bit of entertainment this evening. Try and bring you a little bit of conversation. We know, and goodness me, we know definitely because... Since you were ill with COVID-19, we have been in and had the kids off school for a long time. We've been in for a good, I think that's about 2.5 weeks. And I think the stag do was 3. I've lost all track of time. What even day is it? What day is it? I don't even know. Like weekends now. I used to look so forward to the weekends. The weekends now is just another day. Just another day.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's weird. Guys, it's going to be a very different FPL family tonight, but what we're hopefully going to do is just give you a bit of an outlet, get in the live chat, get your questions in. For goodness sake, get your questions in, because we've got nothing to talk about.
Otherwise, we just have each other to talk to.
Well, there's a few things we're going to talk about. We will give our view, guys. We'll give our view on what's going on with the football and with FPL and when it might be back and all that sort of stuff. It's very important to say right up front that we don't know anything that you guys don't know, right? So our views and everything that we say tonight is definitely not representative of the Premier League or Fantasy Football Scout or any of those other organisations that we work with and we love and we miss, actually. We miss working with those guys. No doubt about it. We miss those guys. So what we're saying tonight, any of our views are all just our opinion, right? Just our opinion. And I do think that it could be some time before we see the conclusion of the 1920 season. If indeed we see it at all. And I'd like to get your opinions, guys, in the live chat. Will we even see Liverpool crowned champions, right? Will we see the bottom 3 go down? And listen, guys, I know, you don't need to tell me, I know there are bigger and more important and uglier things going on right now than the football, right? But we're an FPL show. We're going to try and give you a little bit of insight into football. Try and give you a bit of an opinion on what might happen for the rest of the season. And a bit of a view, maybe, to when the season 2021 might start. Who knows? I mean, it's all up in the air, right? It's all completely up in the air. So we will do a bit of that. We'll give you a bit of a view on that. We'll obviously take some questions in the live stream and in the live chat. So definitely get in there with your questions. We're going to say hello to a few people in just a second. You're going to give us your view, or I was going to say your view.
My view.
Kind of. I'd like you to tell the guys about your experience over the last few weeks because.
Oh, that's going to be pretty.
Well, listen. Hopefully you guys don't mind, because. I think a lot of the guys are here not just to hear about, our thoughts on the football and stuff, but obviously you guys that are following us on Twitter, if anyone's in the live chat that doesn't following us on Twitter or on Instagram, you might not know that we're pretty sure that Sam did have coronavirus for a good week, maybe even 7-8 days, I would say. And it wiped you out, completely wiped you out. This thing is nasty, guys. Now listen, the first thing to say is, we've never been tested. We didn't want to burden the NHS. It was never anything that was kind of life-threatening on your part. So we didn't feel like we needed to go to the hospital. We did lots of resting and hydration and vitamins and all the rest of it and staying in bed. But we never thought it was bad enough that we'd need to go and get tested. So we didn't do that because there are plenty of people, guys, that need those services at NHS right now.
For sure.
That need those services. So we stayed away from the hospitals. But it was a pretty grim few days, I can tell you. And if it was CBD, which we think it was, guys, you do not want this. It's horrible. Even if you're young and fit and healthy and a non-smoker like you are, it was horrible. It was really horrible. So we'll talk about that in a bit as well. Not for very long. We don't want to be too grim about it, but we just want to give you guys some insight into what it was like. What it was like, and what it's like being locked in with a 6 and a 4-year-old for 3 weeks. So it's actually crazy, right? It's crazy trying to keep those two entertained. Been one of the hardest challenges of being in for 3 weeks, no doubt.
It's been 3 weeks since we've not been out the house. It hasn't been that long.
It just feels
I've
like
only
it.
been off school for like 1.5 weeks. That's it.
I'm going to keep saying 3 weeks. It feels like 3 weeks.
By the
however
time
long
we've
it's
done
been.
this 12 weeks or however long we're going to be in lockdown for,
Oh.
you're going to feel like we've been in here for a year. I'm not sure what this says about my company, to be honest.
I
That
know.
it already feels like we've been locked up
Could
for...
be like, it's been 3 years. It's like that gif, like that meme on Twitter, and it's been
I actually think
84 years.
we have to do like a Lee's hair wash, I think. So we have to take
Oh
pictures of
my
your
God.
hair.
That is something I miss, is being in control of my hair. Look at the state of it.
I think I'm going to
So
have to
out
cut
of control.
it. I'm going to have to cut it.
It's out of control. And your brother has already, he's whizzed it off. There's a few people that we follow on Twitter. 1 all over, 2 all over, done. Get in the live chat, guys.
You can't.
Maybe we should have had a poll.
No, you
Do
cannot.
we buzz cut this?
You can't. It would look awful. It would look terrible on you.
I want to know what you think, guys. Get in the comments. Why not?
It would look awful on you.
I'm not showing anyone. No one's coming here and I'm not going out.
I've got to look at you.
I had a shave this morning. I got rid of my week-long beard that I was growing.
Which was awful, by the way,
I love
guys.
the beard. I was enjoying the beard, but I thought...
I was not.
You didn't like it, and I thought, well, happy wife, happy life. Let's shave it off. So
You can tell I didn't get out of bed for a week because Lee didn't even bother to shave.
Didn't even bother shaving. So we're going to talk about a little bit about your experience over the last few weeks. And what else can we talk about? We can talk about the FCAs as well, of course, the Football Content Awards, guys, which... Sadly, they've had to be postponed from May. If you guys are new to the FCAs, go and follow at, I think it's FCAs or the FCAs on Twitter. Either way, you'll find them if you just type FCAs in on Twitter or indeed on Google. The Football Content Awards coming up, and all of the favourites there are Arsenal Fan TV, the Anfield Wrap, all of the Spurs pods and vlogs and stuff. But they have a Best in Fantasy Football category, and we are trying to get into the Best in Football Fantasy category for this year, and we need your vote, guys. We'd love you to come and vote for us in the FCAs, and we'll tell you a bit later on about how you do that. You can do it on Twitter, you can do it online, and we will do a vote live online tonight, because I haven't voted yet for us in the FCAs. You voted, but I haven't voted yet for us.
Have you not voted for us already?
Haven't voted for ourselves yet, because I thought at some stage we might do a live stream and we might want to show people.
Oh, right, fair enough.
I've done it on Twitter, so I've done the text and I've done voted on Twitter, but I haven't been into the website.
Okay.
Actually filled in the form yet.
No,
which is a very easy thing to do by all accounts, but we'll talk about that in a bit as well. So let's get on, guys. Let's get on with the chat and say hello to a few people, because as much as we've missed the football and we've missed the FPL and I've missed being in control of my hair, we've missed you guys. We've missed you. Come in every Sunday, 8 PM, talking absolute nonsense about FPL for an hour and a bit. Yeah, I've missed it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, we've had to sit and watch, we're catching up with a lot of TV shows, to be fair. That's another thing we need to do tonight. Live chat, guys, comments, TV shows, we need them. We're on Disney Plus. We're up to date with The Mandalorian. We're enjoying The Mandalorian. We're about to watch Tiger King on Netflix as of tonight. I want to know, guys, what else we should be watching. 94 people in, guys. Thank you very much.
See, I was right.
us.
I said we'd get 100.
You did actually say 100. I said about 20. So people, at the best of times, aren't bothered about listening to us. Never mind when we've got nothing to say. Do you know what I mean? But listen, guys, 97 of you, and thank you for whoever joined. And in case you hadn't missed us enough, no one spotted this, by the way. No one spotted this. I posted this the other day and I said, join us for a catch-up Sunday night. Sam's feeling, back to herself. We're going to be online. Come and just join us for a catch-up. And Luke, bless him, Luke. We love you, Luke. Luke did us a graphic. No one's noticed that he spelt family wrong on that graphic.
I didn't notice. I posted it.
43 comments I had on that post. Not one of them said, spelt family wrong there, Lee. And
nobody looks at the pictures, do they?
And I actually just noticed, as we were coming on. So I've had no time to change it. So here is FPL Family.
Well, how is it spelled?
FAMILIY.
Extra I.
Family.
Lie.
We'll let you off, Luke, because Luke, every other week this season, has smashed it. He's always on those graphics.
To be fair, not just this
always
season. He's smashed it for the last few seasons for us.
Absolutely. Guys, we got to say hello to a few people. Let's see how you are. We hope, guys, you're all safe, you're all well, you're all practicing all the social distancing, all the rest of it.
Yeah, we're not 2 metres apart because we live together.
We're okay because we live together, and we think that you might be immune now. But we're not practicing social distancing here because we live together. But you guys absolutely should. We are not in any way about to give any sort of advice tonight on FPL Family other than follow the local government's advice. If you're in the UK, listen to Boris. Ian the scientists know what they're talking about. There we go. Steve Wynyard is in. Steve, very nice to see you. He says, grow it long like Fellaini.
Oh my God. Oh, Steve.
And then buzz cut it. So maybe a Fellaini afro with a bit of a buzz through the middle.
That's what you could do. You could grow it and you could donate it to the Prince's Trust for wigs for children. with cancer. That's what you could do.
I could do that. You
do have to.
How long shall I grow it for then?
Quite a long time, because I think it has to be 10 centimetres.
We are going to be in for a few months.
I mean,
it's going to get out of control.
I don't know if I could cope with you with a ponytail though.
Could we do so? If I grew this for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months, it would look out of control. Could we then do something live on it?
What? Cutting it?
I don't know.
Oh my god!
I don't know, guys. Get in the live cut. We want to know if that is something you want to see. You don't. You just not convinced.
I mean,
not convinced.
I've got to live with you. You're the only thing I've got to look at apart from the children, and I've got to deal with this. This is the worst part.
Josh is in. Hey, Josh. Very nice to see you. Hope you're well and you're safe, mate. He's saying, get the big razor out. Go complete.
Josh actually hasn't been very well, so I'm glad Josh is better.
Josh, yes, hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. I think I missed the super chat. People said Steve with another super chat before that one he just posted. Thank you, Steve. He says, hope you're better, Sam. He's got absolutely nothing to troll you on tonight.
No, I know.
No Spurs chat. Nothing. He can't be a troll. He can't even troll.
I sort of miss. It's weird, isn't it? That
Chief troll for FPL Family. Can't even troll us.
I miss Steve trolling me. Like, I mean, what is going on with the world?
Never thought you'd say it.
Never thought I'd say that.
Azzy is in. How are you doing, Azzy? Hope you're well. Hope you and your family are okay, mate. He's saying Lee will have a David Luiz soon.
Oh my god.
It's happening.
You're going to be like Gareth Bale, aren't you? You're going to look like Gareth Bale. And it's going to be awful.
Totally out of control. Carrie256 is in. How are you doing, Carrie? He's saying, listen, Sam, he's on lockdown. He's got nothing to lose. Nothing. You're on lockdown, so no one's going to see it. No one's coming in.
His marriage to lose. His marriage. Because I don't think I can. How can you... Oh, can you imagine what it's going to look like?
Oh, dear me.
You know all these things that are going around on like social media at the moment, like where's the first place you're going to go when you get out of lockdown? And everyone's commenting like, going to see me mum, going to go and see me nan. Lee's not. Lee's going to the hairdressers.
Straight to
Literally,
the
as soon as the barber is open, you're going straight round to Tito,
yes.
and then you're getting your hair cut.
Straight in there with my mate Tito. What a legend!
And you're taking Max with you because his hair is also going.
He's got my genes, isn't he, Max? His hair's going completely out of control.
Yeah, I've already had to cut Evie, so at least with hers, I can cut her hair myself. But
Lucas Wong is in. Hey, Lucas, he's saying, and there I was thinking the FCA was the Financial Conduct Authority. Will you?
Oh my God! Don't Lucas, vote for us on that.
You are right, but don't mention us with it. Not that we're doing anything untoward. But yeah, it's the Football Content Awards, mate. Football Content Awards. The FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, is absolutely. Oh goodness me! I've moved that window. Hopefully that's not gonna. Oh dear! Here we go.
Oh, Lee.
Have you missed this? Right, here we go. No, move it back. Move it back.
Can tell you're not streamed for a few weeks. Look.
I know, all over the place.
Can't run a stream.
Trixum81, man bun for the win. You started this, not me. That's all I'm saying.
It's not actually the hair being in a man bun that worries me. It's the stage getting to that. I mean, we're going to have to go through that Jonathan Woodgate wearing a hairband or Fernando Torres hairband style, which just will look ridiculous on you.
Callum Gray saying every hairdresser will be absolutely packed when the lockdown finishes.
Yeah, I mean, my grey is going to be totally out of control. So you're going to have long hair. My grey is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Matthew D, welcome Matthew. Very nice to see you. Now Sam, we do need to get your thoughts on this. This is quite a nicely timed comment.
No, if it's the comment about Harry Kane, I don't want to know.
By Mr. Harry Kane.
No. I mean,
today on Instagram. Now,
who's asking Harry Kane about where his future is? At the moment, his future's in his blimmin' mansion because he can't leave. Well, so let's not worry too much.
I'm just relaying the questions on the live stream. Matthew D is saying Kane said he might leave
Spurs.
Didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't say he might leave. He was asked, can he see himself retiring at Spurs?
Go on.
And he said, I can't say yes. No, he didn't. He said, I can't say yes and I can't say no because you don't know where the future's going to take you. So it's a non-point, isn't it? It's completely nonsense.
I feel like Matthew might have touched a bit of a nerve there.
Has anyone noticed that I bought Lee a table? And since I bought Lee a table... I don't know if they can even see it. Can they even see the table?
They can't see the new C-shaped table that I've got here. But we've got a great new setup. It's fantastic.
I bought Lee a special table on the Thursday and the Premier League got cancelled on Friday.
Oh, yeah, I know. Literally, the last thing you bought before we got locked down was this new table. And I was thinking, right, cannot wait for a Sunday live stream. I'm going to get all set up with my new table. Got a bit of extra space for my phone and everything. Nah. Premier League cancelled.
Swerved off the Harry Kane comment there as well. Didn't I mention the table?
Yes, I know. Notice that. You swerved that. Yeah, very good. Scott Schrager's in. Hello, Scott. He is saying, good to see everybody happy and healthy. Thanks for the stream. We can use the distraction. We're happy to be of service, Scott. Happy to be of service. Now, Scott is one of our patrons. If you are one of our Patreon followers, you will have seen the messages both on Patreon and on Twitter, about the March Manager of the Month and the April Manager of the Month. Now, the March Manager of the Month, we got one game week in, and I can't even think who was top after one game week, but it doesn't seem fair to give out a prize for one game week. So we are null and voiding March's Manager of the Month, clearly. And then April, I'm going to assume we're not going to get any football.
Well, they've said
there.
we're not going to get any football before April the 30th, so there won't be.
At the earliest. So there will not be, guys, a Manager of the Month for April either. Now, all of our existing patrons, don't worry, you won't be charged for April. We've paused all the payments, so nothing's going to come out in April. And if the football continues to be AWOL throughout May, then we will do the same then, and we will carry on rolling that non-payment until which point the football comes back. We hope, fingers crossed, it comes back at some stage, and then we will carry on with the Manager of the Month.
It will come back at some stage. It's just whether it comes back this season, next season.
So this is a nice segue. And so give us your view then, because the Premier League have come out and said end of April is when, at the moment, football is done until the end of April. Now, it's important to say, guys, and I will reiterate it, we don't know any more than you guys. This is not the view, what we're about to say, of the Premier League or Family Football Scout or anything like that. This is just an FPL Family view. But give us your
you can
view.
tell we talked about this a lot.
Given that, I see the government coming out in the UK and saying, and actually the updates from the government in the UK every day have been pretty good, actually. I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of some of the UK government cabinet, but I think they've done a really good job of handling the virus and the pandemic so far.
They're explaining stuff, aren't they?
And they're explaining stuff and they're keeping everybody up to speed. But one of the things that's come out in the last sort of 24, 48 hours is that actually this lockdown may be, and the social distancing measures that we're being asked to adhere to, are going to be around for a bit longer than they might have initially anticipated or that we might initially have hoped. And we're talking potentially about sort of a June timeframe. Now, if we're being locked down until for a few months yet, and we need to socially distance, and let's face it, I'm not sure how the Premier League are going to run a game of football, even behind closed doors, with it's a contact sport, so clearly there's not going to be any social distancing.
And the other thing that we need to remember, the other thing that we need to remember in all of this is that there's been a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, just put it behind closed doors." It's not just a case of putting 11 players on each side behind closed doors. You've got to have ball boys, you've got to have security, you've got to have backroom staff. So you're not just talking about 22 people and the managers and a couple of subs.
More to it, right?
There's more to it. Prior to obviously the lockdown situation happening, Spurs had sent out emails to their ball boys asking for health updates and various other stuff in order that they could assess whether they would be able to continue if games went behind closed doors. Now, clearly, the situation then escalated a lot more quickly than potentially people thought it might, including maybe the clubs in the Premier League. And I think it just became apparent that actually health obviously is far more important than anything else. So, it is what it is. But for me, you've got players now that haven't played in 3 weekends. That is a hell of a long time for them to be out of the game. Yeah,
and they're going to be out of the game for many more weeks to go.
Well, it's going to be at least the 4 weeks of April. So that will be 7 weekends.
And if you cast your mind back to, sorry to interrupt you, if you cast your mind back to Champions League final last year, where sorry to bring that up.
What is this?
But no, sorry to bring that up. But what a terrible game that was.
Yeah.
Now, one of the reasons in my mind that was a terrible game was because both Liverpool and Spurs lost the momentum. There was a 3-week gap between the end of the Premier League and the start and the Champions League final, and that was because there was other leagues still going on in Europe, and had an Italian side got to the final, they need to adjust for that, of course. As it was, kind of lucky, I guess, that it was 2 teams from the same league. But nevertheless, that Champions League final was a diabolical game. It was one of the worst games I saw Liverpool play all season because that momentum was lost. Now, the Premier League obviously hasn't been going now for 2 or 3 weeks. We're not expecting it to be for at least another 4 or 5 weeks, probably in all likelihood going to be longer than that. When they do say, right, behind closed doors or otherwise, we can kick off again and we can finish this season, if they are going to finish this season, we maybe have that conversation in a minute, but if they say we're going to finish this season, it's going to be like, they're going to have like a pre-season, aren't they? They're going to have weeks and weeks of training.
Which opens up the question then as to, well, is it even viable to do it? Because if the players have been out of action for, say, the end of April comes and actually there's been improvements, the situation has improved. And by the way, I don't think it just has to be that the situation improves in the UK. I think it has to improve across Europe before the Premier League's going to say go again.
Yeah.
Because I think it will be tied in with what UEFA are deciding with the Champions League and the Europa League, but also what's happening with the leagues in Italy and Germany. Because you're starting to see, I don't know if you noticed on the news today, that some of the Italian population who are suffering have been flown to Germany for treatment now, because Germany's not suffering as badly. They've got some beds, so it's starting to be a bit more of a. I think it's going to be a bit more of a joint effort.
Problem, right?
Yeah. And
so do you think that? Do you think it's a Premier League decision, or do you think it's a football decision? Do you think it's FA, UEFA, everyone has to agree that this is going to, we're going to kick off again at this time?
Yeah, I think it's because the Champions League and the Europa League are going to affect decisions, aren't they? So if the Premier League says, okay, look, we've been out of action for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, we're going to go again. We'll start this season as we left off, but you get 2 more weeks of training behind closed doors or whatever to get you match fitness. Well, what are you doing about the Europa League and the Champions League? Because it doesn't make sense for them to not be starting at the same time. I think there has to be some sort of coordinated effort. In the same way that there is with fighting the virus, there needs to be coordination with anything that's important. That's why the Euro Champs have been moved. Partly. That's why the Olympics.
Do you not think the European Championships have been moved so that these clubs can finish their seasons?
Well, that's what I think it was originally. Yeah. I think originally that is what happened, is that they thought, right, well, let's take that, let's park it into next year, and that will enable us to give the flexibility to the countries to get their seasons going again. But the situation since they made that decision has changed a lot. Like, if you just look at the way that the UK is, the way that Italy and Spain are, you just can't see that these countries are going to bounce back into football. It doesn't. And how do the players feel? Because if you say to these players, right, okay, you're going to, in 5 weeks' time, at the end of April, beginning of May, you're going to play again behind closed doors.
Yeah, they can't go back to work before the rest of the country goes back to work, surely, because for them it is going to work, isn't it?
Well, it is, but also what does that mean for their families? Because they've got families at home, and if you're still saying that the country is in lockdown, then you are risking their health sending them back to work, and therefore you're risking the health of their families and their children, because they're going out and potentially bringing something home. So
do you think there is a scenario where the 1920 Premier League season is null and void?
Yeah.
I do, yeah. I do too.
Because I think the reality is, this situation is likely, if you listen to what is her name Jenny, the doctor on the talks for the government. She's lovely. Actually, I really rate her because she speaks and I can understand what she's talking about. A lot of this medical people I don't understand. Whereas with her, she speaks on a level, and she was talking today about how potentially we could be talking about 6 months. Now, if we're talking about not on lockdown, but if we're potentially talking about 6 months for the country to recover, then we're talking about the summer. Now, this is at a time where the new season would be starting. So you then have a choice to make, don't you? The Premier League has this decision, and the European football associations have a decision to make. And that decision is, well, do we sacrifice the 2021 season by kind of pushing it back into maybe October and then bundling lots of games into weeks, so they play Wednesday and Saturday, but then how do you fit in Europa League, Champions League, Cups? Do you ban, do you say, right, well, no FA Cup, no League Cup this year? But then there's ramifications for that with, sponsorship and royalties and all of that kind of stuff.
I did hear a rumour, and it is just pure rumour on Twitter, that one of the things that they're looking at is potentially playing, because obviously one of the biggest problems of kicking the league back off is that even if you're going to play games behind closed doors, you are still going to have a lot of fans, home fans, congregating outside home stadiums. You've got to believe that in the game where Liverpool could win the title if we all kick back off, there are going to be a lot of fans around that stadium. There's no doubt about it. If it's Anfield, even if it's not, there's still going to be a lot of fans around the stadium, and that is going to take a lot of policing. There's not going to be 2 metres between each of those fans, and it's going to be a very, very difficult thing to do. So I did hear something that said maybe we get all the teams to St George's Park, where there are 13 pitches, and we just play the games. And the players are in isolation in between games.
But you can't. But that doesn't make any. So the point putting them in St George's, that does sort of make sense. But how can you isolate them if they're going to play football together? They can't then be isolated because they're touching each other during the matches. You can't. It's a contact sport, football. At the end of the day, that's why the situation is what it is. I don't know. I don't know what's worse for the Premier League. Is the worst thing for the Premier League to upset... So, if the season gets cancelled, who's actually upset? Liverpool, of course.
Yeah.
Who else is upset?
Leicester, because they're not in the Champions League. So I guess if they null and void the Premier League, they start 2021 the same as 1920 started.
Yeah.
So Leicester, therefore, not in the Champions League.
I guess and this is why I think it's a collective European decision.
Yeah.
Because for me,
however the 1920 Champions League started, that's how they'd go again.
That's how it feels to me. Because if you can't just cancel one league, because then who goes into the pot from that league? If the other leagues are finished, it doesn't feel right. It's messy. Whereas
the only teams that are going to be upset are the ones at the top of all the leagues.
Yeah.
Right. So Liverpool for not getting a trophy, West Brom and whoever else it is at the top of the Championship. Leeds are up there, I think. But whoever would come up from their Championship would miss out on a payday. You know, League 1 and 2. So whoever's getting promoted or in that promotion spot. Now, no one in those leagues is as far ahead as Liverpool are in the league. So clearly they would have the most. They would be the most
upset.
to be upset about.
Yeah.
But all of the teams that are at the bottom of those leagues would say, "Sure, listen, no problem. You can."
Spurs will take
the
it.
Bournemouths and the Watfords and in the Premier League would say, "Yeah, all right, give us another season in the Premier League when we're at risk of going down. Yeah, sure, we'll consolidate and we'll go again." So yeah, you are risking maybe 4 or 5 or 6 clubs being upset, but
also
the rest of everybody else in the league would probably be fine with it.
But you kick back off again, and there will be a lot of unhappy clubs because they'll say we don't have match fitness. We don't, we're risking the health and safety of our players.
Yeah.
The ramifications of playing games if the country is on lockdown is enormous, because if somebody gets ill on the back of one of those games, it is not worth it can't be worth the risk, is my view. Like, it's football and I know we love it. I mean, crumbs, it's my job. Like, I've got nothing to be doing at the moment.
And that's and by the way, that is key, isn't it? We all and everybody, every 108 people in here love football and we love FPL. However, if you speak to the average Joe on the street who who kind of follows a team, they'd be like, yeah, well, just cancel it, start again.
Yeah.
But because we love football so much, we're sitting here, and obviously as a Liverpool fan, obviously I'd be gutted.
I'm alright to cancel it.
Right?
We've had a terrible year.
Yeah, right.
We'll get the Champions League again if we can.
Obviously I'd be gutted, but listen, there are bigger and worse. There's people's families that are
people's
unwell,
lives,
right?
people's
So
lives.
if we don't get the trophy, we don't get it. Obviously that's disappointing, but it is what it is.
Just have to win it next year.
Well, yeah, maybe. But listen, it's very weird times, guys. I want to hear from you guys as to what you guys are saying. Let's see. Steve is in with another super chat. Thank you, Steve. Carry teams points over to the next season.
I did hear that. I did hear somebody.
Is that a possibility?
I did hear somebody say that. I did hear somebody say restart the season 2020, so start 2021, with the same teams in the same leagues, but the points that they have gained. But the problem is that some clubs have played less games. So is it fair?
Yeah.
So because it's the bottom clubs, isn't it? So like Aston Villa are currently in the relegation.
But they could play that game at the end of the following season.
Yeah, so maybe you have to say the games that the clubs had in hand for this season, they still get to play at some point as a double game week or however they do it in the middle of a week.
Oops.
You're right.
I've dropped my...
Trash in the joint.
I think that might be the camera going out. Hold on.
Hang on. Are we all right?
I think we are.
Oh,
Guys, tell us if we're back.
Oh, you're right.
The camera just dropped out. Oh no. Right, I think we're back. I think we're okay.
We okay?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, there we go. Look, it did drop out. Are we back? Somebody say
I've missed this so much. I've missed it. Can't even spell family.
There we are. Yeah, so I think there's ramifications for that, but it does kind of make sense, doesn't it? If you say, right, okay, new season, but points total carries over, you could kind of see that would keep everyone sort of happy, maybe.
All right, okay, let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see. Anthony Gary, hey Anthony, how are we doing? Season will end for sure. Liverpool deserve the trophy, but it's just got to end. It's got to end. Callum Gray, there'd be loads of lawsuits by clubs if season was voided. Can the Premier League afford all of those lawsuits? Goodness me, I haven't even thought of it that way.
Do you think there would be? Because I think that in this kind of situation where it's people's lives,
I
don't know that the clubs would be that petty.
I don't know. Wouldn't bet against it. Neil Craston, how are we doing, Neil? So unfair for Liverpool. First time in 30 years and we may have to wait another year. Listen, mate, we're in good shape. If I look at the way, and that's the thing, is like, I look at the way that Liverpool are set up as a club, as a team, and I think, all right, we don't win it this year. Extenuating circumstances. It's you can't. No one saw a pandemic coming, right? So it is what it is. But listen, the way that we're set up as a club, as a team, with that manager, with those players, we can win it again in the future. There's no doubt about it. We can win it again in the near future. Hopefully not another 30 years. Goodness me. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Here we go. John Tyler is in. Hi, Sam and Lee. Hey, John. How are we doing? Let's see. As he says, if football goes ahead, people will probably travel to grounds and wait outside. Yeah, which is absolutely what we're saying.
Yeah, and I don't see how you can tell the country they've got to stay in their houses, but football can play.
Not right, is it?
It's wrong. That's wrong. As much as I would love them to say, yes, go on, play a football match. It would keep me entertained. I watch it on the TV. We could come and talk to you guys. It feels so wrong.
Yeah, Marco Rebello, though, is saying, well, money speaks louder, guys. They will finish the league. They have to because of the money involved. These are extenuating circumstances, Marco. I would...
Yeah, they can still pay the money out for the positions that the teams are in, even if the season is void. Yeah,
maybe. Who knows? Listen, so... I genuinely no idea what's going to happen. No idea what's going to happen. All that we know is that we ain't going to get football for at least another 3 or 4 weeks, and I suspect a lot longer than that.
Yeah, we know that nothing before the end of April. We don't even know when the Premier League are going to make any announcements, but I would expect to hear something towards the end of April, because obviously they're going to need to say whether they're extending the postponement of the season or whatever it is. So it's tough. It's hard. It's horrible. Life without football is not good, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. And speaking of tough and hard and horrible, we're going to talk about what it's like to have COVID-19 with you in a minute. What we thought was COVID-19. We're pretty damn sure that it was. And even when we called the NHS on 111, which is one of the, those of you that are outside the UK, that is a bit like 999, but there's no kind of emergency, right? It's for medical health. It's for advice, right? You phone 111 and you tell them the symptoms and they go, yeah. And the lady at the end of the phone was just like, you've pretty much got it. It's very likely that you've got it, right? Very likely you've got it. But before we get to that, Sam, we would like to promote the fact, and this is to bring the vibe up a little bit, is that we would like to promote the fact that there was 1 week left to go, and actually that image in the middle of the screen there, the 1 week left for voting, was from about a few days ago. So we don't have much time left to go vote for FPL Family in this year's FCAs. That is not the Financial Conduct Authority. That is the Football Content Awards.
It is still going to be at Spurs. It will just be in November.
So those of you that are brand new to the FCAs that have never heard of it before, it's where all of your favourite clubs like the AFC TV and Spurs and the Anfield Wrap and all of those guys all get together, and there's a big award ceremony for people that are creating social media content based around football. And they do have a fantasy football category, which of course we are looking to get into. That's what we'd love to do. Now, they were going to hold the ceremony in May. It's been postponed until November, but that doesn't mean that the voting has been postponed. The voting is still going ahead, and you can still vote right now for whoever gets to go to that ceremony and potentially pick up the Best in Fantasy Football Content Creator Award in November.
I want to go.
It is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, ladies and gentlemen, which is exactly one of the key reasons we would love to go. We were going to go for it last year, but we were a bit, we were kind of a bit less well known, weren't we, I guess, in the FPL community. Yeah. And it was in Manchester.
And it was in Manchester, and it's normally a very busy time of year for you in May, work-wise. We couldn't really have a day off to go to Manchester in May. But, as you all know, we don't live very far from Spurs. And it's us.
So we're going to try and go, guys. So get over to... so go follow us on Twitter, at FPL Family on Twitter and on Instagram. All the instructions on how to vote are there.
You can vote on Instagram and Twitter and through the website. So you can use all of those different mediums to do it.
You can. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it right now. All the links are in the description below, guys, of the video. So I will post them in the description after the video. But you can see the link on the page there, footballcontentawards.com/2020-voting. Now, if I head over to this window, I've not voted for us yet. So here, I'm going to vote for us now. So you go over to that URL. You can vote for the different
categories at the same time. So if, for example, you're an Arsenal fan and you really like Arsenal Fan TV, while you're doing us, you can also vote for them in the other categories.
Absolutely. So there's like Best in Video here, Best New Content Creator, Best Influencer. If you want to put Sam in there, Sam from FPL Family.
I don't influence anyone.
Just saying.
Why?
Just saying. But if you scroll down, or if you go to Take Me To, you can go Take Me To, and then you can go to, where is it? Here, Best in Fantasy Football. So you can go to Best in Fantasy Football. It should take you
It'll break. Because we're live. We're on live.
Refresh the page. Good idea.
Oh, hello.
Right, there we go. Best in fantasy football. Come on, there we go. Right, so it goes best in fantasy football. Now, if there's a particular podcast that you really enjoy, you can put it in there. If there's a particular video, hopefully us, that you really enjoy, you can put in there. Or if there's an editorial that you particularly like, you can put it in there. Now, if you listen to us on the podcast, then of course, put us in the podcast one. But most of you guys that are tuning in tonight will know us from our YouTube videos. So I'm going to put FPL Family in there. And then I'm going to go to scroll to the bottom. And it's going to ask me for a couple of things. I'm going to say, here's my name. Oh, if I spelled it right, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
So you blame Luke for spelling family wrong, but are you sure it wasn't you? You can't spell your own surname anymore.
And there is our FPL Family email address, which I'll put in. Agree to the terms. Boom. Vote now. Thanks for voting. There it is, and it's done. So there is another vote for FPL Family. So guys, it would really
mean it would mean a lot to both of us, but it would mean the absolute world to me.
That'd be wicked. That would be so good if we got to go, wouldn't it? I mean, win or don't
wear
win,
a posh dress and turn up at Spurs looking all pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like life goals.
Yeah.
I might have to retire from just life at that point.
Win it or don't win it. I mean, honestly, even with the lockdown on, the boys on Planet FPL have been putting out some ridiculously good content, and a lot of it as well. So if you want to go vote for those guys, no problem at all. Vote for them because they're doing fantastic stuff. If anybody
vote for
you
them
like
on podcasts, because that's what I did.
Vote for them in podcasts and
I did that.
Video.
When I voted for the guys at Planet because I love the guys at Planet. And to be quite honest, when I'm lying in bed feeling really rubbish about my life, I listen to the guys at the podcast.
Stick it on. So whoever you want to vote for, guys, vote for it. We would just love your votes so that we can get there. We'd love to be there when we get
and in fact, do that because James is also a massive diehard Spurs fan, so we can go together.
You and James on the Prosecco at the Spurs Stadium.
I don't know if James wants to drink Prosecco with me, but he can drink some beer, I'll drink some Prosecco, and we'll be happy with that.
I'm going to go out there and say that James is probably not a Prosecco guy.
No, but we can go nice, just be the stuff of dreams.
So there we go, that's how you vote online. There is also another way to vote if you wanted to go over to, here's our Twitter, and here is a tweet that I did from the other day. I've got to find it, here we go.
There it is.
There it is. So if you want to vote for us via Twitter, you can copy this text, find one of my tweets, and I'll do another tweet just as we come offline tonight. You have to copy that text like that, Control-C, stick it in a new tweet. Where's new tweet? New tweet. Stick it in there, bosh, and then tweet. Bang, there we go. And that's it. That's it, that's how you vote. So guys, get in. We'd love for you to vote for us in the FCAs.
You can do it on Instagram as well.
That would be
They've got posts on Instagram. So just go and find the one that says best in fantasy football and then tag me in that.
That would be good. All right. So enough of the FCAs. More on that as it develops. If we get nominated.
Yeah. When did you say? When did you say? The shortlist comes out April.
Aprilish. Yeah. Early April. Something like
Next
that.
week.
Yeah. So we should know. Yeah. We should know whether we get nominated or not. So get your votes in, guys. We'd love you to do that. Sam, COVID-19. Not too much graphic detail, but tell us what it was like. Because,
no, it was pretty horrible, to be honest.
And before you do that, thank you to everybody that was sent in their well wishes, because every couple of days I was saying, not great, headaches, back pain, cough, all the rest of it. And we had so many messages come in saying, "Oh, get well soon. Hope you get well soon. Get better." So thank you to everybody that sent in messages of well wishes. That was really, really kind of you. Very kind of you. But yeah, not great, was it? Pretty grim few days.
No, I don't think I've ever been quite as ill.
Yeah.
As I was.
It's not the flu, is it? It is more than flu.
It's not the flu.
Yeah.
No, for me it was weird because it didn't start with the cough and the fever that they talk about on the TV. So it started with a headache, and it was a very bad headache, which I had, for pretty much 2 weeks solid I had a headache.
But you had the headache for a couple of days before the other symptoms kicked in, right?
And it was bad. And I kept saying to you, didn't I? I had a terrible headache. And I just thought I was doing too much. And I thought I was... And actually, the reality is I thought I was spending too much time worrying about what the hell was going on in the world and the kids and my grandparents and, the elderly people and all of that kind of stuff. And so I didn't think much of it. And then the Thursday morning, got the children out of bed, got them ready for school. And then Max coughed. And I was like, right...
That's it.
You can't go to school. And he was like, what? I've only done one cough. And I was like, no, you coughed. You're off.
Yeah.
And the schools were going anyway on the Friday. So
because at the time, the government advice was a new cough or a new fever, you should self-isolate your family for 2 weeks. So you having a headache
We didn't.
We
think
weren't
anything
like,
of
well, we
that.
don't need to be off for that, right?
No, and I don't get headaches that often, but I do get them sometimes. So it wasn't like it was totally new.
But the fact that he
But
coughed
he
was
coughed,
good.
and I was like, right, all right, fine. And it was more than just one cough. I'm not that neurotic that he coughed once, and I was like, right, he coughed a few times. So I was like, okay, we got to stay home.
Yeah.
Within an hour of me saying you've got to stay home, I was like on my knees with it. It came on just apart. The headache was there for a few days, but then it was like. I feel terrible. Like I've got to go and have a sit down. And after
you kept like blanking out a little bit, so your headache was that bad that if you got up too quickly off the sofa, for example, you'd have like a head rush.
Yeah. And then I had a really bad fever, really hot, but freezing at the same time. So felt cold, but was running a temperature. The cough was there, but it wasn't as bad. And actually, it's been the back end of it that the cough came, wasn't it? It was only as I was starting to feel a bit brighter. But the problem is it just wipes you. So it was like I couldn't barely get out of bed.
No, it was like zero energy. Zero.
I'd be fall asleep just at the drop of a hat, wouldn't I? Like just terrible. And I'm still like that. Like even now, I feel like I'm sitting here now thinking I really could do with going for a nap. But it's just because I've got my energy's not come back yet. Yeah, it's totally wiped me out. I lost 3 kilos in a week just because I didn't want to eat anything. It was just...
The guys in the live chat are asking about your sense of... so Anthony's asking about your sense of taste and smell. Did that affect you?
Well, I didn't eat, did I?
No.
I wasn't hungry. I wouldn't eat anything. So I don't think I was... I can't remember... So I don't know about my taste. I definitely wasn't really smelling anything. No. But then... you kind of don't really think about it at the time. But I couldn't smell anything. I can now, and my taste buds are fine now.
And you had a bit of tightness in your chest, but it sort of travelled to you. It was a whole of the upper body. You had a lot of back pain as well.
I had loads of really bad aches. That was a bit like the flu because it was like really achy. Everything ached.
Yeah.
And then it was towards the end of the illness that I was feeling really wheezy. Like I wasn't ever really, really breathless that I was struggling to breathe with it, but I just felt really wheezy and my chest felt really heavy and tight, like somebody was kind of sitting on it all the time.
Yeah. But then again, so as I said before, you've got a reasonably good respiratory system, non-smoker. But I could see, and I think you would say the same, you could see how someone who was a heavy smoker, who did have underlying health issues, would absolutely struggle with it. No doubt about it.
It almost... I was going to say it almost finished me. It didn't kill me, but I felt like I would rather be I just didn't want to know anything.
In bed, yeah.
I didn't want to know. Having kind of come out the other side of it, you look at it and go, it's really important. It's so important that people that are poorly don't get this because I had nothing to give.
You were absolutely fine.
I had nothing.
And then you had it.
I had nothing to give to fight it. It was just a case of just right. I've got nothing left. Like I'm just gonna have to let it ride it out and hope that my body does what it needs to do, which it did.
Yeah.
But for people with underlying health issues, like every time you see the numbers going up on the news, I can see why. Like it's horrendous, utterly horrendous.
Florian is saying, thanks Florian, he's saying, did you take anything, any meds, anything like that, just paracetamol?
They say to just take paracetamol, because actually you just need to let your body fight it, but then...
I could tell when you were at the end of a paracetamol cycle as well. Yeah. Like when it was time to take another paracetamol, you like...
I literally,
nothing.
I don't take medication for anything, forever. I just don't ever bother. I don't ever really feel like I need to. Very occasionally, if I get a really bad headache, I might take one. I did not miss a pill. And the first thing in the morning, because I was so knackered, I would go to bed and then sleep for like 14 hours.
Yeah.
Wake up at the end of the 14 hours and my head would be horrendous. I'd have to immediately take some tablets and like let it. But it was just, they can't, unless you're hospitalised with it, they don't give you anything other than just to tell you to take paracetamols, drink plenty, try and eat little bits if you can, which you basically had to force feed me some things, didn't you? Just to make sure that I would eat something.
But listen, too long didn't read. You don't want this. You don't want it. It is not pleasant, and we just got to, as a community, as a human race, just need to do everything that we can to make sure this thing doesn't spread, because it was frigging horrible, wasn't it? It was frigging horrible.
The one thing for me that's come out of the back of it, and you know, we've got people, very old people in our family, and for me it's a case of now I don't want them leaving the house, because if they catch this, it will kill them. So if you have older people, if you've got people with underlying health issues, and you can help them by taking them stuff and leaving it on their door and running away.
We also live in an age where we have technology, right? We have video conferencing, and not everyone's parents and grandparents will be able to use it. Like my nan, for example, bless her, still alive, 88 years old, has got an iPad but never use like video calling on it. So I called her on her landline. Yes, she still does use her landline. Called her on her landline and said, "Nan, you need to set up FaceTime on your iPad." What's that? So I talked her through it all. You got to sign her up to a new iCloud, all the rest of it. Took me like 45 minutes, but now we can talk on video conferences. You can see the kids and all the rest of it. So we got the technology to still keep in touch with people despite the self-isolation. So use it, guys. Absolutely use it. Late Riser's in. Thank you, Late Riser. He's saying, glad to know Sam's feeling better. Late Riser, we miss you, buddy. Looking forward to reading more of your editorials and working with you more on Fantasy Football Scout going forward once we are back in the game. Florin is saying the paracetamol would have contributed to the sleepiness. So as that's making its way out your system, that's probably still.
And I think that's the case, because I literally went through 3 packets of paracetamol in about.
That's heavy, wasn't it?
I mean, it was literally every 4 hours. As soon as I could take them, I took them. Yeah. And I think that's what's kind of lagging in me now. I've just got no energy left at the moment, so I think that is definitely part of it.
Yeah. Anthony's saying, has Lee or any of the rest of the family showing any symptoms? No, not yet, mate. I mean, like we said, Max, our little boy, had a bit of a cough, didn't he?
Which he's still got. So he has still got a cough.
Yeah.
Our little girl, she's got a bit of a cough, but the trouble is with children, you can't.
It doesn't affect them as much, I don't think.
No, right? And so they're actually both very tired, but we don't know whether that's just because they've been at home and so they're just a bit lethargic.
Yeah. Or they've got it. Who knows, right?
They've had a dose of it, but they've had it as children. Thank God, as children get it and it's mild. But and the other thing is that we don't know whether Lee's had it and is just one of these really lucky people that doesn't show any symptoms at all. Because there are people walking around out there that have got it, show no symptoms
and they've just spread it, right? Yeah.
And they've just spread it around. Now, obviously, you can't have spread it anywhere because you're not left the house, because I've had it.
Absolutely right.
So as soon as the antibodies tests are available, I'll definitely have one, and then I think it would be wise for you and the children to have them as well, just so that we know for sure. And actually, that also means, if I have had it, like Lee said earlier, it should give me some immunity from catching it again, at least over the next 6 months. So.
As he says, we'll be looking to have the antibody test. We will make when we can. But
as soon as they have it in the UK properly.
But throughout this whole thing, one of the things we were keen not to do was to burden the NHS. They've got so much on their plate right now, these guys, and there was a fantastic moment a couple of nights ago here in the UK, and I don't know whether you get in the live chat, guys, in the comments. Let us know if you guys did this as well. I guess not, because you don't have a National Health Service maybe in the way that we do in the UK. But there's this wonderful moment in the UK when at 8 p.m. one evening,
Thursday,
everyone went outside and just clapped.
And I cried. Stood there
and clapped. And
it was unbelievably emotional.
The whole neighbourhood, and we're in a fairly, as you guys know, we moved house fairly recently. There's a whole new neighbourhood. We're just getting to know our neighbours, and now we can't. Now we can't because we've got to be socially distanced from them. But the whole neighbourhood just came out and clapped, and cars were beeping their horns and stuff, all in praise and in gratitude for the NHS. And the guys on the front line there in our hospitals are doing such an amazing job.
Yeah.
So we never thought that whatever it was that you had, be it CVD or anything else, was ever going to be a hospital job. So we were like, right, well, other people need the NHS, so let them have it. And I think that's the general feeling, right? That I think most people in the UK are sort of working towards that. To be fair.
I mean, I think it's prevalent to say that I think I had a mild dose of it, and it was horrendous. So if you get it, just look after yourselves and look after each other, because it is awful, and you do need some support.
No doubt about it. Right, guys, we're going to be about 10 or 15 minutes left. Get in the live chat. Let us know what questions you've got. What have we covered tonight? We've covered a bit about the footy, a bit about the FCAs, bit about coronavirus.
It's such a weird time, isn't it?
It is a weird time. It is a weird time. But get your questions in, guys. About 10 minutes, we'll take a few questions. One of the things I guess some of the guys have been saying on Twitter is, never mind Liverpool losing out on the trophy. If this season's null and void, Sam, this is potentially your best FPL finish ever.
I know.
Null and void.
I know.
And all of a sudden, the wooden spoon trophy is shared.
Well, no, because...
It's shared, Sam.
No, it isn't.
It is shared.
Oh, you are talking...
If the season is null and void, I'm not taking the wooden spoon trophy. It is shared.
I think it's going to depend on if because is there a case that says the Premier League season is null and void, but FPL just the season finishes and it stands. Because then
you're open.
Get that, and I get my best ever
null
finish.
And void. Null and void. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Any strategy for FT, since we have so many during this downtime, for free time, I guess Anthony's saying. Any strategy for free time, since we've got so much...
No, free transfers. Free transfers.
Oh, free transfers. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, listen...
I'm using mine. You're not, are you?
Well, I will be very, very honest with you guys. Be very honest with you, Anthony. I have not put any thought into FPL, really, since it got
to be fair,
canned, because
you've been looking after the children and me and working and everything else, so you haven't had a lot of
absolutely,
time.
because as you've already mentioned that before, this time of year is quite busy for me up until May with my actual what I do for real work.
Yeah.
Then we've got the kids and stuff going on, so wouldn't necessarily say that I've put a lot of thought into what my free transfers are going to be. I also don't think that my team, I don't think I'd change. I think I'd change. If the Premier League came back next week, I think I'd still have the same team. But also, whenever the Premier League comes back, if it comes back, it's going to be, so hard to predict. It's been a very unpredictable season so far anyway in FPL this year. But if we get back into the Premier League and there's some games, you're going to have teams being lethargic, teams not fit, players not fit.
And also
it's just, how are you going to pick an FPL team?
But also how they...
I might actually do all right.
But actually how they set up the game weeks as well will affect it, won't it?
Yeah,
because
quadruple game weeks also.
There's been lots of cancelled game weeks. So I actually have made a couple of transfers.
Have you really?
Yeah.
What have you done?
I bought in Fernandez because I was like, well, I want him. So,
not, yeah.
And I might as well. I'm going to burn a transfer otherwise. I was like, Aubameyang, get out of my life. I've brought you in, you blanked, and then get your game called off because Arteta got coronavirus. So...
This was back when you thought coronavirus was just going to affect Arsenal.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. So he obviously had Aubameyang, and I was like, I don't want you. I only wanted you for the double game week that you had, which then got cancelled. I don't want you now. So I got rid of him and I brought in Fernandez, but now I've got two again. So on Friday, I'm going to have to make a decision about what I do. I actually now look at my team and think, yeah, they're all right. I was still kind of waiting for some news on Traore and what was happening with him, because part of me wondered, and does anyone know, it would have made sense if they'd have said to Traore, have you up now, you dislocated shoulder up? We've got 8 weeks off.
What, burden the NHS right now?
Right, Traore's not going to go to the NHS, is he, for his shoulder up?
Trixham81 is saying, do you think FPL will finish regardless of the season resuming? They seem limited to what they can do with the game weeks. Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Yee, do you think... Hey, Andrew, how are we doing? Do you think there'll be a game week 39, 40, 40... Could be. Yeah, could be.
We don't know.
Listen, mate, we don't know.
We don't know the ins and outs of how the game is set up in terms
Florin is saying, #no void, I'm leading my mini. Don't void it, whatever you do.
I don't know the ins and outs of the technology behind the game in terms of, is there scope for the game to be extended? Like, can they put game week 39 and 40 and 41? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know if they've got that scope to do it. Or whether game week 38, every game that's been missed needs to go into game week 38 and we can't make any more transfers. I don't know is the answer. We won't know that until the Premier League makes some decisions, and then obviously until they come and say to us from the FPL channels what's going to happen with the game.
Yeah, Jeff's in. Jeff, hope you're well, mate. Hope the family, hope Maria's well. Hope everybody's well in the Holt household. He's saying, no, do not void this season. His overall rank is 909 right now. Do not void this season, FPL. Do not void it.
I don't think the game gets void. I think even if the league gets void, I reckon they'll just say, because if you think they sent out Manager of the Month mugs, didn't they? Even though most of us got naught. they've like taken the top percentages of managers and sent the Manager of the Month mug. So
as he says, Lee, get over yourself. You need the wooden spoon trophy in your life. You know you love it.
Thanks, Azzy.
Anthony Gary is saying
you deserve it. You deserve that wooden spoon trophy.
Hey, I'm having an alright season.
Even if the season, yes, you're having an alright season, but I'm having an amazing one. So if the season is void, I think you should still get the trophy.
Anthony Gary is saying he's saying Sam's got a league bigger than Liverpool for the wooden spoon league. Come on.
Yeah.
That trophy belongs in your cabinet.
And you want to share it. That's like me saying, all right, the league's cancelled, or Liverpool can have the league title, but they've got to share it with Watford.
Oh, bless it. And Frodo Halvorsen saying, Kane in for Alba? Yeah, if you want.
Do you know I nearly did that?
That's such a loser.
I nearly did that.
I can't even think about it right now. Goodness me.
Because Kane's fit.
Whatever. Yeah.
He's fit. He's fit and available.
And if the season does restart, no one's going to be match fit, including him. So he's going to be at the same level as everybody else.
He's fit and available.
Kane in is what we're saying here in FPL Family.
He said on his Insta stories the other day that he was. Well, it was about 2 weeks ago now because it was before I was ill. That he was 2 weeks away from being fit. He's fit. Bring him in. Why not?
Hashtag Kane in. Billy.
You wonder what on earth he's trending for, won't it, when we all go Kane in?
It's just like starting to get a price rise. You'll be like, what the hell?
Why is everyone getting on Kane?
Billy Hadaway says, have you signed up for Fantasy Championship Manager 0102 on Twitter? Billy, I haven't, mate. I haven't, because despite being locked in and despite having a lot more free time, my day job is very busy at the minute, and we've got the kids, and we've got a bit of this and a bit of that going on, so I haven't. But any of you guys that want to sign up to that looks like real good fun. So from what I understand, and you need to go and follow @PlanetFPL, go and follow James on Twitter because he's leading the charge on this. Right. But they're effectively simulating a Championship Manager season 01-02. So you've obviously got all the United class of 99. You've got Henry from Arsenal, and you've got all the proper old school players.
Team?
Yeah. So basically, someone somewhere is going to simulate the 01-02 season on Championship Manager.
This is amazing.
And you pick a team basically, and you game week by game week go through it.
That's amazing.
Great idea, isn't it?
Right. I'll message James later.
Yeah,
I'm all about that. That sounds amazing.
James is all over it. So yeah, get on that. I think it's starting pretty soon. So.
Oh well, I mean, it's not like I've got anywhere else to be.
You need to pick a team. I think James was on Twitter the other day saying, "Should I pick Van Nistelrooy or Henry?" I was like, "Whoa!"
And we're worried about getting Kane in.
We're saying Kane in over here. Vote for us in the FCAs, everyone. Kane in.
There's nothing wrong with bringing Kane in. He's a legend. No Kane. No game.
No Kane, no game. Ryan Bird, how are we doing? Ryan, he's in. He's saying, I am overall ranked 74. For the love of God, do not void this season. Ryan is saying, oh my God. For the love of God, don't void the season. No. 74 overall ranked, by the way. That is absolutely
obscene. 74.
That is ridiculously good. Another Hoops is in. Thank you for the super chat. Another Hoops. He's saying, apart from Lee's shirt, thanks to Other Hoops, great to see you guys. Hope you guys and everyone in the chat is well and keeping safe. And I think
for sure
that is absolutely our overriding message coming out of tonight's FPL Family,
just
guys.
Be safe.
We will continue to do these, I guess. We'll maybe do them every couple of weeks. Every time we feel like we need to come and connect with you guys.
Every time I get fed up with talking to you, which means we'll be on every other day.
Well, the guys need the live streams just to track the hair growth more than anything. So we need two things from you guys tonight. One of us, vote for us in the FCAs, @FCAs over on Twitter. Links in the description below. Head over there, and we'd love for you to get us to the Spurs Stadium. We'd love you to do that. That'd be awesome in November for the FCAs. The other thing is, get in the comments below. Let us know when you want us to do our next live stream. Should we be doing it every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks? Let's see. As things develop, I don't know.
2 weeks' time, it's Easter Sunday. I mean, we could all get together and eat some Easter eggs together.
Could eat some Easter eggs together or something. Who knows, guys? But listen, the one thing we are going to say... Oh, Azzy, another super chat. Watching Match Today, top 10, debating captains and goal scorers. That sounds good. That's what I do. One of the only good things... there's really no good things coming out of this whole pandemic, and there's no good things. But I am quite enjoying some of the retro football that's going on. Some of the match of the day retros, some of the kind of like Premier League years.
And I didn't quite enjoy that Football Focus that they put out on Saturday morning, which was just like a load of random interviews that they'd done across the season.
Yeah,
like when they had Chilwell and Maddison, they were like bantering each other. I was like, yeah, it's quite good.
That's quite good. That's quite good. A little bit of alternative football content, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alternative football content, even on Twitter.
And Dele Alli being the Lion King, advertising Disney Plus.
Yeah, what was that about?
With his cat.
How much did he get paid by Disney for
I don't know, but Uno the cat, I mean, making its debut on
Dele Alli, what?
What?
There we go, guys.
I mean,
so anyway,
if you were a footballer and you were at home bored,
You do
Why
a bit.
not?
You do a bit for Disney, wouldn't you?
And
You do a bit.
Disney me and go, I'll pay you some money. If you
Yeah.
advertise
Hold your
Disney
cat
Plus,
up.
all you got to do is say, I'm watching Disney Plus and I'm starting with my favourite. It's The Lion King. And then he's gone, I'm doing one better than that. Bring in my cat.
Deli Alley.
Why not?
Anything for a few quid, Deli Alley. Absolutely unreal.
Disney, if you want us to do something, I'm all over
We'll
it.
hold up our cats for the same money as you're giving Deli Alley.
We'll do, maybe we could do Lady and the Tramp and make the cats kiss.
Jeez.
That'll be ours.
Good lord. Anyway, on that rather ridiculous note, we hope you enjoyed tonight's FPL Family. Obviously, I was going to say it's a bit different, but we've misspelt family on the graphics.
You've unplugged the camera.
The camera's been unplugged. It's kind of the same old FPL Family. We hope that you've got some entertainment out of this tonight. As usual, guys, stay safe, self-isolate wherever you can. Wash your bloody hands like it's going out of no tomorrow.
My hands are so sore.
Our kids sing happy birthday to us every time they wash our hands, and it's cute. So we want you guys singing happy birthday every time you wash your hands. Practice social distancing. Make sure you keep your eye on the news. Listen to what your governments are saying. Stay safe more than anything. We will see you probably in a couple of weeks or so. Couple of weeks we'll do another live stream just to check in, see how you guys are getting on. We hopefully will know the results of the FCAs, whether we've been nominated then or not. We'll have a few Easter eggs to eat with you, and we'll just see where we are with the footballing world. There we go. That's it. Thanks for joining us, guys. Leave us a like before you go. Hit that subscribe. Let's skip back into the mode now. Leave us a like before you go. Hit subscribe. Feels like I'm back on a Sunday night now. Back in the... wrapping it up in the usual way.
You got the wooden spoon back with you, so, you know.
Leave us a like before you go. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you hopefully in a couple of weeks for a bit more chat. Stay safe, guys. See you soon.
Bye, guys. Take care.